Good evening and welcome to Beacon of Hope. Good evening, good evening. Our dear viewers, tonight we welcome you to our program, our Friday program, Beacon of Hope, hosted by me, your host, Councillor Elizabeth Kangede. And as you hear the background noise, I'm actually sharing because I would like us to invite as many people as possible. Those of you who are my friends on Facebook, I've already shared. You can go ahead and do the same because we would like to have as many viewers as possible. And can I say, particularly those people in the diaspora? We want to be together. We want to discuss this topic. It's a topic. I don't know what to say, but we got to talk about it because it's our topic and we are the diasporians. At the end of the day, we are Kenyans. We love our country. And that is one of the reasons why we've decided tonight we want to talk about Kenya and voting, diasporians and voting. And just before we go to that, I want to remind you, last week we had a really nice chat and I told you I am promoting one of the young entrepreneurs, a young guy who has just come up with a very good venture. This guy is called Bonnie Wesh. And I explained to people, this guy is doing so well, arranging trips for people. If you want to go to Kenya, he will organize everything from you from scratch. And he's called Django Dweras. And I told you, this is me. How much did I enjoy? He organized for us from here, pick up from home, drive around Nairobi, wherever we went to Nakuru National Park, all those places. And this guy, his charges are, reasonable and, at the comfort. When you can pay at the comfort of, whatever you're comfortable with, you can arrange with him. And I say, this guy is absolutely wonderful. His trips are wonderful. I also like reminding you, are you sending back money to friends and family back to Kenya? I always tell you, if I have something good to share, I do not keep it to myself. And I've been talking about this, and I'll not stop until I see something better. And so far, I can tell you I haven't. And what is this?
Niajewase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumakitu.
Tuma kitu nyumbani, tuma kitu kwa marafiki, tuma kitu kwa familia. Yes, that's part of what we do here in our show. We want to promote our people. We want to tell you the best deals that are there in the market. Like now, the money sending deals. I can tell you, I haven't seen anything I can compare with TapTap, and I hope they keep up. At the moment, it's £1 to 153 shillings. Yes, the day before yesterday, it was £1 155. So actually, TapTap, they are still the good deal for us. And, nothing has beaten them so far. So I always say anything good that I come across, I know I interact with those sorts of people, I'll bring it to you. And tonight, I do not want us to take so much of our time. Tonight, our talk is diaspora vote. It's just a talk. And I have to put a disclaimer before we continue that we are not from the IEBC. I could not get the guys from the IEBC, but we just want to discuss because people have been asking me, you are in politics. I mean, why should we vote? What is so important about us in the diaspora voting? Do you think it's worth it? Should we be wasting so much time traveling all the way to go and vote? Why should we vote? How do we gain as diasporians? So we want to hold a healthy talk. Last week, I hosted Mr. Lucas Kamau, a very good friend of mine and a brother, and Joy Awe from Germany. And we still want to elaborate. We still want to bring more of these guys so that we can discuss more. Let's, we never give up. There is a saying in Kikuyu, I don't want to interpret because it will not come out good. It's for the farmers. If a farmer is still planting and the crops fail, Until that time when that farmer gets a good yield, they are encouraged, do not stop. They keep going. They try this time, it bounces back. They keep trying. So I would say the same thing with us. But then your vote is yours. Your vote is your choice. The opportunity is there. Are we prepared? Do we really want to vote? Has the ground been well prepared for us in diaspora? I don't know where you are. I've just been watching a clip, and I must say I was really excited with what is happening in US. Well, and again, in US, they also have their problems because US is not just a small, area. If to move from point A to B, some of them would have to fly out. But anyway, I was watching today as they launched the voter registration. The ambassador, Lazarus Amayo, was there with all his embassy staff and the IEBC staff, and they invited the Kenyans to come and, just witness the launch of the voter registration. And I thought, wow, that's a good start. They've started well. Well, I do not want to start ranting because I could. Because here in UK, I was meant to go. So many people turned up. Hey ho. I know people are saying that there are the teething problems. We will come to that. I don't want to start on that. We will come to that and discuss. But at the moment, we want to discuss with two of my brothers here. What's the need? Do we have to? Is it important to vote? Why should we vote? How do we gain as diasporians? Do we want to encourage diasporians to vote wherever they are? And when we say diasporians, although the three of us are in UK, diaspora is anybody living outside the borders of Kenya, including Uganda, Tanzania. But do we make a difference? Is there anything we can do? Yes, let's discuss. It's not up to me. Personally, if you ask me, because I am in politics, I always encourage people and I tell them, come on, come out and vote soon, because this year is another election year for us in my borough as the London counties. We'll be talking to you. We'll be asking you to go and vote. We'll be asking you to register. We'll be asking you to campaign. We'll be asking you to go out and meet the residents and explain to them. So personally, I know from my perspective as a politician, it is my constitutional right. And my one vote makes such a huge difference. I don't know what you have to say. I do not know what you think. But listen, hey, Beacon of Hope is your show. Beacon of Hope is your program. Let us come and share. Let us come and discuss. Again, I want to put a disclaimer that my guests tonight are not from the IEBC. They're just like you and I, but they are a bit one notch higher because they've been meeting with the IEBC team, the commissioners. So at least they have some knowledge. So whatever we share tonight is not of their own, is what the IEBC has said. And I would like us to discuss. If you have any comments, as long as you keep them civil, share on the chat. Any questions, any ideas, any comments, please mind the tone, because if you do the wrong things, you know what? Block. Because you're not going to spoil our show. Ask questions which are civil. We discuss as diasporians. I know we can keep to that. And so without much further ado, I've got my two guests tonight. I'm going to invite them to introduce themselves, and then we kick it off from there. Then we discuss and we see, where are we heading as diaspora? Are we heading anywhere? Do we have any hope? Is there any point of voting? And tonight I've got, hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Right. I've got two gentlemen, and because I'm the only lady, I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. I'll start with Agri. Would you like to introduce yourself? Say who you are, where you live, what you do, if you feel comfortable, and we'll take it from there before we go to Peter, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councillor, for this wonderful space. And thank you for inviting us on here, myself and Peter, to share. As you heard, my name's Agri Kanyanga. I live in Hemel Hempstead with my wife and two lovely children. And I am the chairpersons of Kenyans living in Hertfordshire. I also do work with the church, Watford Elim Church, and I work in the aviation industry. Um, uh, and it's a pleasure for me to be on this show. For me, community is very important. I founded Kenyans in Hertfordshire in 2012 together with others. Didn't do it on my own. And I did it because of the challenges I faced as an individual. And I realized that these challenges could be lessened if we joined hands together. And hence, that was my motivation to come together with other Kenyans and to form Kenyans Hertfordshire Association. We've done so well so far. We've supported each other dearly. And we also celebrate being Kenyans and being in the United Kingdom, because sometimes we forget that as people living in the UK, we are ambassadors of both nations. I usually tell my youth, especially, that when you are here, you represent Kenya because you are the one who will sell Kenyan to the locals here. When you go back to Kenya, you are an ambassador of the United Kingdom because you are the one who will spread the gospel about the United Kingdom. And so community to me is very important. And like I said, we carried on with the Kenyans Hertfordshire Association. And then about 2 years ago, again, we were motivated to even make it bigger, where we formed together with Chairman Lucas, Chairman Peter, and a few other chairpersons. We felt the need for us to come together as a Kenyan Community Chairpersons Council. So that's where we are at, and that's where we sit. We have meetings regularly, and for the support of our communities.
Thank you so much. Agri is, it's quite a good introduction. At least people know who you are, people know where you're coming from, people know who you are, what you're doing for the community. And now over to Peter. Would you like to introduce yourself quickly, please?
Thank you very much, Councillor Kangede, for inviting us this evening, and good evening, our viewers. My name's Peter Macharia Mwangi. I am the chairman of the Kenyan community that lives in Reading. I'm also the spokesperson of KCC UK, an umbrella organization that brings together all Kenyans in the United Kingdom. And our mission is to make sure that we speak with one voice and unite our community so that we can be able to meet the challenges, address issues that are affecting our people here, back in Kenya and internationally, and also engage with like-minded organizations and people. I'm also chairman of the famous GFC Circle, an organization that deals with investment back home, and also another organization called Ledken Wells Limited. Other than that, I'm a husband to one wife, and I also got my daughter who is turning 16 in April. And I'm proud to be Kenyan. Anything Kenyan, I am always there. Thank you very much.
Technology. I almost lost you there. It's good to have the two of you tonight on Beacon of Hope program. Some of you may not know that Beacon of Hope, I am the CEO of Beacon of Hope. And in Beacon of Hope, we try to do as much as we can also for the community. It's not my show. I don't do this alone. We do this with my husband, Bishop BK. I am also, like you say, married to one handsome man. I'm a mother to many. I am a councillor elected for the last 11 years, now looking towards climbing the ladder to Westminster. I thought there could be Makofi from Jore Kimani, who is my good admirer. Now, before we continue, I was reading something and I thought this has taken me back, and I thought, do we think of that as community leaders? Somebody posted today in one of the websites, and I thought I should share just a tip of some of these things. Rules for living with people. Sometimes in life, you will come across foolish people. We are advised to avoid them. You will come across wise people, study them, and you will be able to work with them. Young people, inspire them. Children, educate them. Leaders, honor them. Gracious people, emulate them. Weak people, strengthen them. I'm saying this because we've got all these kinds of people in our communities, and the three of us, we happen to be community leaders in our own setups. If you come across a strong person, support them. If you come across a godly person, bless them. If you come across an elderly person, respect them. If you come across a hardworking person, encourage them. If you come across a kind person, esteem them. If you come across an evil person, avoid them. That's a tip for you as we move on. I've learned some of these things the hard way because I've worked with people. Little did I know they are evil, and so all they're out to is to mess me up and not to build me. Now, tonight we are here, and I say the topic is diaspora vote. We all know diasporians are the people living outside the borders of Kenya. And both of you have rightly said you are leaders in your own capacity. You do different things. I will look at the questions. I can see already some questions posted out. We will come to that, and please continue sharing, continue visiting our YouTube channel, please, and like us and subscribe. It's called Beacon of Hope. Beacon, share widely so that we can really see what we can do together. So please, if you are there, share widely. If you are already on Agre's page, on Peter's page, on my page, share widely, and even try and visit us on our YouTube channel. We are talking about the diaspora vote. First of all, why vote? Whether diaspora or wherever, is it important to vote? I'll pose the same questions to you, and please, what do you think? What is the importance? Why should we vote? Agri, why should we vote?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. And let me also just reiterate what you said at the beginning of the show. We are not IEBC, and we do not hold any brief for IEBC. And you'd mentioned that the US had a good flying start. Unfortunately, our start here in the UK did not go that way for reasons the IEBC has explained on their statement this morning. I got up this morning with my wife, and we actually went to Great Portland, hoping that we are going to exercise our democratic right. But unfortunately, we were told that it's not going to happen. But I haven't given up. I'll still go again. Now, the short answer to your question is it's very important to vote. It's very important to vote. And you know what, Councillor, this is my first election to vote for Kenya, because I came here when I was very young. I've never participated in any elections in Kenya. All the elections I've participated in were here in the UK. And so for me, this is a very exciting moment. And I've participated in everything else, Kenya, including Kutuma Kitu Nyumbani, but I have never participated in voting. So I'm looking forward to exercise my democratic right. And I'll tell you why I think this is important. This is important because we have to take that initial step of choosing leaders that are credible, choosing leaders that are focused, because they will help us to build the conducive atmosphere that we so look forward to when we go back home to rest. Remember, we take a holiday back in Kenya, and so we want it to be a holiday and not a chore. And the first step of voting, by making sure that we have credible leaders, it means that we are actually getting ourselves into that space of decision making and or being part of our country. Now, I think this is our first initial step to vote, and the next step we should be looking at as diasporans is to have proper representation back home for people who can articulate our needs, articulate what we want as diasporans. And so this step, we must take it. It's a very important step as an initial step, so that we can move to the next step now of looking how are we going to have proper representation back home. And I'm looking forward to get involved in this exercise and to make sure that I choose a leader that is going to help us to actualize our dream as diasporans.
Thank you. Could I pose the same question to Peter? Is it important? Why vote? Do you think we need to engage ourselves? Do you think we need to go that extra mile? And oh dear, I agree. I'm shocked you've never voted. I tell you what, personally, I've participated. I have been a returning officer in Kenya. I have been a presiding officer. I have done all those bits. I have participated in very many elections since the first one when I turned 18. Actually, we have been voting for. I think this is the third or so. Don't count my age anyway. Peter,
I'll do the
should
maths.
should we vote? Why is it important to vote?
Thank you, Councillor, for this very important question of voting. One, let me say every vote counts. And why I'm saying this is because when the IEBC announced that indeed they were coming to register voters in the United Kingdom, amongst other countries in diaspora, what came into my mind is this is a dream come true, because I had not envisaged in my mind that we will be determining the next leaders. This election again is very, very unique. Unique in the sense that it is the first time that we in the UK, and I will speak about UK because that is where I am, we in the UK, we will be voting. It is so unique because we have the right to determine who is the next commander-in-chief of the armed forces in our Republic of Kenya. We have the opportunity to determine the next person at State House. That is very, very important because voting, much as it is also a democratic right, you are there to say, this is the person that I want to represent my interest. We as diasporians send a lot of money back home. We are major investors. We have been doing that since we came from Kenya. We would be happy to see that the right person that we are voting is the same person that is looking at our interest. So that is the reason I'm saying it is important to vote, because if you do not vote, you allow people who choose leaders that you did not want to choose leaders for you. So if you do not vote, you'll have people that are elected. You'll have a president whom you would not have wanted to see in the State House. So that is the reason why people vote. It's a democratic right, and it is very, very important to safeguard it. When such an opportunity comes, we need to embrace it and go there, register, and vote. And that's why we are encouraging our people, all of us, that take this moment, seize the moment, because it has come. We've never had this chance, so let us go register and vote. We actually could be the Tharaka Nithi. We kept on hearing about Tharaka Nithi every time the votes are being counted. And people are asking, has the Tharaka Nithi votes been counted? The votes from diaspora, and indeed, the United Kingdom, they could be the Tharaka Nithi. That once they are counted, you will hear people saying, there we are, a president has emerged. And because we know how the election is behaving in our country, we will be the one to separate those leaders, those horses that are running and are strong and are able to finish. We are the one to determine which horse wins this race. And it can be very close to call. That is why the Tharaka Nithi of United Kingdom is so important as we speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much to hear, they usually call that the swing vote, which will make a lot of difference, maybe. But don't forget, again, at the same time, United Kingdom is not the only diaspora. We've got UK US who are voting. We've got Canada who are voting. We've got Germany. We've got Qatar. We've got South Africa. I think we've got Tanzania, Uganda. All these other countries which are being counted as the Tharaka Nithi, as you say. Now, I'm just concerned. How much difference do you people think our vote will make? And does my vote, one vote, count? Is it important? Should I take all the bother? Why? What difference do you think one of just my vote, what difference do you think that could be make? I could be asking a question that I should be answering, but for the sake of sharing, let us discuss this. I'll start with Peter this time. Does your one vote, or you and your wife, does that count? What difference does it make?
Yes, it does. And for the last few months or so, especially in the by-elections that have been held in Kenya, be it Kiambaa or other areas, we have seen elections that are very close, that the winner and the runners up, or the second, the difference being very small. We had a situation where you had a difference of less than 100 votes. So that one vote can be the determinant. Your vote, your child's vote, your wife's vote, and it could be the one that determines who actually heads to State House. And let us not take anything for granted. As I have said, and we have seen on the campaign, the way things have heating up, every vote is precious. And that is why you see presidential candidates going all over. They have already been campaigning even before the official campaign starts. And when they ask, they are saying, we are only testing the ground. So it tells you the stakes are very high. If the kind of multitudes we are seeing now in all the presidential candidate meetings, wherever they go, if that is what you are seeing now, almost 6 months to the elections, what do you think it will be officially when the campaigns are announced? It means the stakes are very high. Nobody can tell you who is going to be the president of Kenya because the stakes are very, very high. And we are dealing with quite what you call the uncharted territory. And that is why the votes from the diaspora are so crucial this time around. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. I'll pose the same question to Agri. And as we continue, I would like to tell our viewers that in Beacon of Hope, we are non-partisan. We are not discussing party politics. So I'm sorry if you came here thinking we are Oka, Uda, Azimio, all these, Tujibebe. I know I'm trying to remember which are the other parties. Which are the other parties which have come up?
I tell you what, there are a lot of new ones that have
so many.
We got Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yeah.
Actually, in our show, I know we all belong to a party somewhere because at the end of the day, whoever we vote for will belong to a certain party. But for the sake of what we are doing here, we open it to everybody. We are non-partisan. We are not discussing party politics at all. We want to find out whether you are voting for whoever, Joroge Kamau, Tieno, Kipsang, whoever you are voting for. Us, our interest here is to find out, is it important? So the same question to you, Agri. Does my one vote, you and your wife, maybe you and your cousin, or your one vote, does it count? What difference will that make? Anything to add to what Peter has said?
Yes, my vote and my family's absolutely matters. It absolutely matters, and I would like to agree with Peter. You know, these elections are going to be very, very close to call. You can already see how they're. You know, it's kind of shaping up, and we still have a long way to go before the elections. When it gets closer to the elections, the stakes are going to be so high. And remember, the Kenyan elections are determined by 50+1 vote. So that one vote, you know, if there is a tie of 50% for each, that one vote is the one that could determine who will be the president. And therefore, you know, I would like to encourage people to register and to vote, because that one vote, your vote, could be the one that will determine who goes into State House. And like I said, now the dynamics have changed with the introduction of the US and the UK. This is territories that even the politicians themselves do not know what the outcome is going to be, because they've never tested. They cannot map out the UK, for example, and decide that, okay, Hertfordshire so and so is going to get more when you go down to Reading and that area. So this is very new territory for them. And like I said, I think it's very important for Kenyans to get mobilized and to go and register as voters and to participate into the voting exercise. That is very important for Kenyans to do, because that will put us in a place where when the government of the day comes in and decides what kind of resources should be channeled towards the diaspora, then we will be seen to have participated in this exercise. And from there, the government can even deduce how many people are interested in policies, for example, in Kenya. So for me, I think my one vote is very important, and I'll be casting that vote. If God keeps me well, I'll be going there and I'll be exercising my democratic right, no doubt. And anyone in my household who is of age, I'll be dragging them along with me.
Thank you. Yes, God, you keep you well. Amen to that. God, you keep you well. We are strong believers. Now, which brings me to a question that you just made me think of. We live in the diaspora, we don't live in Kenya. And you guys think, according to your statements, our swing vote or our one vote, our two votes, you make all the difference. Are we really helping the Kenyans there? We don't live there. We don't make the policies for them. We live in the UK, where actually, personally, I'll be advocating for you guys to vote. And I hope the same passion you have is the same one that you bring here. Do you think it matters so much for us because we don't live in Kenya? Whatever happens, should we give a damn? Whatever happens, should we really be bothered whether we are included or not? Should we be excited that finally they've decided diaspora can vote, and yet we don't live in Kenya? We just send in the vote. We are sending somebody to State House, and maybe whatever decisions they make don't concern us as diaspora. Mind you, I'm only posing a question, and maybe some of these questions have been sent to me, but indirectly I'm asking them. I start with you, Agri.
It's very important. Remember, the people who live in the diaspora. I mean, when you started your program, you started with an advert from TapTap, Tuma Kitu Kidogo, and that I'm sure each and every person here in the diaspora, unless you are so selfish, we send Kitu Kidogo, and most of us look after our parents. Most of us have people we've employed, either if it is on our farm or on our businesses. We've invested back home, and those people we've invested are people who are working, and we would like to see their working terms improved. For example, their health care. We would like to see that they are kept healthy and they can access health care at affordable prices, so that they are able to continue doing the good job that they are doing. We would like our parents to be able to get proper health care, for example, so that we do not get stressed out. When they go into a hospital, we know that hospital is well kitted. We don't have to worry about them getting to the hospital, because the roads, for example, have been made in a good standard. They can be rushed to hospital very quickly, and all this can only happen if we make sure that we've elected the right leaders. They are the ones who will come up with a good vision of improving infrastructure, healthcare, and housing. For example, we have relatives at home who we would like to live well, and even when we go to visit, we would like to visit them and make sure that we enjoy that space. So if we have leaders who are not visionaries, and they are not leaders that would be good for our country, then you'll find that we are actually going to be dragging our country backwards rather than taking it forward. So I think it's important for us to participate in the vote, so that we can put in leaders that can be able to take our country to the next level.
I will pose the same question to Peter. What is your feel? What do you think? It's important for us to be voting in Kenya where we don't live. What difference does it make for us to be voting for people there, and they are the ones being affected by whatever is happening?
I'll start by saying this one will determine our involvement. When we vote, this is the time everybody back home, because the votes will be counted later. Assuming, or as it goes, we are 300,000 Kenyans living in the United Kingdom. and 100,000 happen to vote, the eyes of Kenyans, including those in government, will start asking themselves or saying, have you seen the influence from the United Kingdom? It means that we also start to be taken seriously, because we always send money, but we have never been involved in decision making. Why IBC is coming this time is because Parliament has been very lazy to think about us. And when they did, they only decided we will only vote for the president. We will not be voting for any other elective posts. I would have liked to elect my MCA. I would have liked to elect my women rep. I would have liked to elect my member of parliament, but I can't, because decisions are being made without our involvement. And I'm saying, let people of diaspora, let Kenyans in the United Kingdom see this as an entry, that from what is going to happen after elections, our numbers are going to indicate that you really need to take these people seriously. Again, after voting, we are now saying we need to come together as one united group in the diaspora, not just in the UK, so that we'll be speaking in one voice, and we'll be knocking on the doors of that state house and parliament, telling them, you need to recognize us in a better way, not coming the last minute and telling us, oh, you have a chance to vote. We do agree that, which is okay for now. We are making baby steps. We'll help you make those baby steps. But we as leaders, we as Kenyans in the diaspora, we are not having baby steps. We have adult steps. So our involvement is very, very important. And I'm saying after voting, after them seeing these Tarakanidis, when they will say, seriously, these people, they actually deserve to have a seat. Is a high time. They also think of the 48th county, where we can have our own county, a ministry in charge of diaspora affairs, and we have leaders who are able to do that, to lead us, so that decisions in that parliament, decisions in that government, any small decisions, we are involved. Surely, people sending all those billions back home, we needed to be treated in a better way. And that's why every vote is so, so important. And may I also say, naturally, every human being is a political animal, in whichever way you like. I've had people say, oh, yeah, I don't like politics. I don't listen to politics. Be careful about politics. What we are talking about here is politics. That voting is politics. Because what is the definition of politics? Is who gets where. It's who gets what, where, how, why, and when. So you are actually one vote is going to determine who gets what, where, how, and why. You will be answering those questions, be that just one vote. Because after all the votes are counted and tallied, they will come up with the president of the Republic of Kenya. If you did not vote, you have helped other people to elect somebody you did not want to see in that state house. So you are helping somebody to make decisions on your behalf when you could have already made those decisions through the ballot. So our involvement is very, very important. This should be seen as an entry point. You know, let us get into the sitting room, and if we are allowed, look at the conservatory and the back garden. But it starts by voting. So knock on the door. We have been given this chance by the IEBC, because I'm saying it's like a chance given. Yeah, they have come very late, but we can make that difference. We should be in a position to see a positive thing in a negative thing and change things. So mine is to say, we in diaspora, we have this chance, which we can utilize, and it will be a voice. It will grow louder by day. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, and it is good to see a lot of support. I can see Bishop Margaret Chanui saying a great discussion here, and a few others. I can see Jore Kimani's got questions, which I'll handle later on. I can see Reverend Bonnie all the way from Cardiff making his comments, and I can see others. I see a few others. Guys, take a short break, have a drink. We'll be right back. Please don't move that mouse. Don't move anywhere. We'll be right back. Just have a drink and then we'll be.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium and Germany. Too mucky too.
Wow. Welcome back. This is our Beacon of Hope program where we're discussing tonight. We're talking diaspora votes, and so far so good. Very good answers from the two gentlemen who represent different areas of the UK. And just before we went for the break, we were talking about why does my vote count? Should I really be bothered? Should I be traveling all the way? Me, my wife, my family, should we go and vote? And the two gentlemen have handled that question very, very ably. Now, which brings me to another question, which actually I've got in the inbox. This time round, we are only voting for the president. And you guys think that our vote will make a difference. Now, we know that Kenya at the moment is under devolution. It's a devolved, we have the devolved government, meaning the decisions being made now, it's not like before where it's only the president who could make a directive and things are done. Things are happening, with the MCAs, the governors, the senators, the women reps, machinani, like they say it. So really, voting for the president, are we really making so much difference in terms of our changes in our country? Because the powers, the presidential powers have been reduced because of the devolved government. So decisions are made at the county levels. So how much change really don't you think we should have fought to vote right from the bottom? Agree. I could have the answers, but I want us to discuss this.
Yes, that's a very good question. It's a very good question, and let me start by just continuing from where Peter left. Peter said we are making an entry. I think that's very important for us to note that this is a very first time we are voting in Kenya as diasporans from the UK. So it's important to make that first step. The second thing I would like to say is, if you look at our elections, many people come and ask me, whom are you going to vote for this time around? Who do you think will do a good job? I cannot answer that question until I've seen the manifesto of these presidential candidates. They come up with a manifesto, we look at it, and we see what their vision is for the nation, for the entire nation. And I think the president is the figure that actually can be able to actualize that manifesto. So if you align yourself with a manifesto that promotes the country, then obviously the president is the figurehead. Yes, devolution has come in, and it means the president's power is is a little bit curtailed, if you may allow me to use that word. But he is still the overall figure of the nation, and the president still wields a lot of power. And so for me, I think it's important to make that entry in, get in there. And once we do that, we get representation, and some of these steps that we are looking to add to our voting, for example, the MCAs, the governors, these will come when we are in the House and we can debate on this. We can actually talk about it. And the IBC did say that, it is up to us as diasporans to actually bring the government to task and tell them what we want. So I would say it's very important for us not only to participate in the vote, but also to come together as diasporans and to speak with one voice. because as long as we are speaking with different voices, then those who thrive in organized chaos, they will do, and we are not going to move forward. So as diasporans, very important that we come together, we speak with one voice, we all agree that this is the direction we want to do. We want to be able to vote for the president, we want to be able to vote for the governor, for the MCAs, MPs, and so on and so forth. But we can only do that when we are able to influence policy making in the government. And to me, I think this initial step is very important for us to show that we are interested as stakeholders of the nation called Kenya. Once we show our interest as stakeholders, the next step is going to come where we are going to be able to have influence in a lot of other areas.
Thank you. The same question to Peter. With the devolved government, if you have anything to add, what do you think?
Yes, I think we could be complaining a lot if we were only told, yes, you will vote in the diaspora, but you are only allowed to vote for the MCA. The noise that you would be hearing, will be a lot. But because we have been allowed to vote for the president, I would say that is an honor to start with, because the president is the executive. He's the head of the executive. And with the executive comes cabinet, and all other posts. He's so powerful. He's the commander-in-chief of the forces, of the disciplined forces. He's a representative of government. And every other country that wants to communicate with Kenya goes through the president. So that is an important post. And that is why, if you look, especially in the campaigns that are going on and with the presidential candidates that are there is a lot of talk. Who are they going to choose to be their running mates? But even if they didn't have their running mates, they are still good to go on, if you look. And it is because all the eyes of Kenyans, wherever they are, they're actually looking not at who will be their running mates, but those presidential candidates, and you can name them. It is because that is where the interests of Kenyans are. So, having had a chance to elect the President of the Republic of Kenya is itself also important. We cannot complain, because, as I said, if we had been told that you are only allowed to elect the MCA, then we would be complaining the whole day, whole night, and saying, I don't even think anybody would have to leave their house to come and elect an MCA. And I'm not belittling or taking them for granted. It's because of the order of seniority, because we have got three arms of government. We have got the judiciary, we have got the executive, and we have got the legislature. These arms of government work hand in hand. And why we need a strong president, why we need a president that really follows the law, is because we have seen before heads of state or president who sometimes disregards the judiciary, sometimes disregards the legislature. And that is why we are saying we would be happy in our coming elections to have that person at State House that respects all arms of government, so that they can work in harmony. And we have come a long way since 1963. We have seen how it has been during the leadership of Kenyatta, leadership of Moi, leadership of Kibaki, the current leadership of Uhuru, and the next president, the fifth. So we can say it's a great opportunity to be able to determine the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya. And that is not something we need to take it lightly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, like you say, we've come a long way. People don't know we've been fighting for this vote. I remember when President Uhuru Kenyatta was elected the first time and he came here. I don't know how many of you were there. I spoke on behalf of our people, and our request then, I think I agree you were there, was we want to vote. And his answer was yes, hiyo itahakikisha. I remember people are proud because we said we are not asking for anything else. We all know that diaspora is a major contributor to the development of Kenya through our remittances. If we look at the amount of money we contribute, yes, like you say, we also want to be involved in terms of the policies, and, we want to be stakeholders in whatever is happening in Kenya, which now brings me to the point where we are now that, okay, we fought for that. It's just like fighting for independence. And at least we are one step ahead. At least we are being allowed to vote, which to me is exciting, that at least we have moved one step forward. We've come to the point where now registration is starting. And like I said, I've got a clip that I wanted to play, but for the sake of time, we are discussing UK. In America, I saw His Excellency Ambassador Amayo launching the voter registration in US, which went on so well. And I think he was the first one they registered. I also saw a clip somebody took in Berlin, in Germany. It started off so well. So they have started. I know we were all armed this morning. We are up in arms and shouting. And okay, we know we have teething problems. And like they say, COVID restrictions and all that, visas and all that, which really should not be an excuse. They should have prepared their house, put the house in order in good time. I am not taking that, and I don't want to take it lightly, that people booked. I know a couple who had paid to be here for the weekend, to be with their family, and they had paid a lot of money. And now, although they will be given another slot, the money is lost because the transport agencies cannot refund their money. They had booked for tickets. So, I mean, there are so many logistics. There are so many things that went wrong today. And again, like you say, Agre, you traveled there, and for you, maybe you didn't have to go very far. Yes, you had. I know where you are. You're not that near. What you're saying is all the inconveniences. We must admit, call as paid as paid. This morning, things did not go so well. We do not want to sit here, bury our heads in the sand and pretend all is well. It wasn't good because that communication came in a bit too late for most people. They are there queuing and, so we are trying to say, IEBC, please put your house in order. Let us know. Teething problems are there. I'm not saying that could not happen, but communication is key. Just like in a family, communication is very, very important. Now, we are registering. I got a question here which has been sent by a young person. This young person says that, not just one person, actually, there are many. I'm looking at, I'm getting, and please, if you've got questions and you don't want to send them there, send them to us as long as you keep them safe. We will try and handle. They are saying they're very disappointed because the IEBC insisted that, not the IEBC, but they think the IEBC, that the voting, in order to register, you must get a valid Kenyan passport. They say some of them, and so many, are young people born here. They've not managed to get their Kenyan IDs because of ABCD reasons, and so they've been blocked out. And I was looking at the statistics in Kenya. 25% of the population is between 18 and 34 years, and that is quite a big number of Kenyans. And some of them are here with us. They are our children. They are, they are students. Some of them don't have a valid ID. So they feel they can't be bothered, and they feel this one should have been addressed in good time. Why can't they be allowed to use their passports, even if they are expired, as long as one can prove they are Kenyans? Why they cannot be allowed to use their ID? I know you are not IEBC, but what answers have been given? And please, no shooting, my gentlemen here. They're just saying what they've been told. They are not IEBC. So please, any those questions, please, not shooting them. They can only say what can be verified on the website. Agri, what do you think we should answer to these people?
Thank you. Those are great concerns from the great citizens of Kenya, why they are not being allowed to use, for example, expired passports and other documents to be able to vote. Now, I would say the IEBC is guided by law. The IBC is guided by law, and if there's got to be any changes that are going to be made as to who can vote and what documentation they can use to vote, that has to be guided by law. And therefore, if anything is outside of the law, I would like to just appeal with my fellow Kenyans. Please don't try and pursue it, because the time between now and voting, registration was supposed to have started today in the UK, but we are told that Monday it's going to start. So changing anything that is in law now is not going to be possible. So let's not waste a lot of time trying to address that right now. However, it doesn't mean that we cannot talk about it for the future, because after 2022, 2027 is knocking on the door. And so we have to prepare. And I believe one way of preparing well is learning from the mistakes that you've made, or the shortcomings, and then putting measures in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And when I say this, I think one of the measures that we should do as a people starts with ourselves. And I'm going to ask fellow Kenyans, can you travel using an expired passport? Can you open a bank account using an expired passport? Can you, for example, use an expired passport to drive a vehicle? And then when you're stopped by the police and say, look, I've got experience, only that I have not renewed my driving license. You can see I've been driving for 10 years, only that this time I have not. You will be charged in a court of law. So the responsibility of making sure that your documentation is correct starts with us. We must learn that our documents have to be up to date in order for us to be able to participate in this activity. The other things that we can change, for example, Kenyan voting with IDs, those are things as a community we can sit and talk and then present to our legislators and say, look, these are areas that were overlooked during the past elections, and we would like them to be addressed so that our people can be able to exercise their democratic right. So in my opinion, I think we first have to start with self. We must put our houses in order, make sure your documents are correct, they're up to date, so that when that opportunity comes, you are able to exercise your democratic right. You are not denied that right. Right now, even if we try and talk about people using to be honest with you, the government has been very generous, because the ambassador has said that people with the old blue passports, which were supposed to have been phased out by the end of this year, they can now be allowed to vote. So I think that is a good gesture from the government to show that they are willing to help our people. But let us not present ourselves with expired documents and expect that they are going to carry this exercise. They are not going to be allowed. So as much as we would like our people to register, please make sure that your documents are in order. The other thing I would like to encourage our people is our young people who are born in this country. It is time we get them Kenyan documentation. And I think we need to engage with the embassy a bit more to see how this can be made quicker and smoother. I think the embassy is willing to assist. And if we all speak with one voice and present this as a pressing issue, using this as a case study to say that, look, this is one of the areas where documentation that has taken long to process. This is the effect of that. Our young people can now not vote because their documents were not received in time. I think we should use this as an opportunity to make sure that everyone has their documentation and it's up to date. Lastly, I would like to say the ambassador and the embassy have made it very clear they are not into the business of hunting people down to see that you have, for example, makaratasi of staying here. Theirs is to make sure they've processed your documents as a Kenyan. And so our Kenyan people, sometimes let us not hide too much. Let us go to that embassy. It is there to serve you. And if you feel you're not comfortable to go to the embassy, approach your community leader. Talk to them. They can approach the embassy on your behalf so that you can get the answers and you can get the confidence of getting your documents right. I think we need to go out there and just make sure we get our documents in order. Thank you.
Thank you. Peter, what do you have to add to that, please?
I would just want to reiterate the words of Chair Agri and say it is true. IBC is very much restricted by law. and they can only do what is within the confines of the law. And I also want to go back to what I had said before, that our parliament, their eyes are not in diaspora, and it is a high time they started opening their eyes to the people of diaspora, because we only matter when we are sending something on Friday or end of the month. But when it comes to our issues, they are not seriously concerned, because it is the parliament that determined that we will only elect the president. It's the same parliament that determined that we will only use a valid passport, not the ID, for reasons best known to them. I am sure there's so legal issues around it, but we need the voice of diaspora. We were challenged by IBC when we held many Zoom meetings to actually digest and come to understand what is involved in this registration and voting in diaspora. And what they were saying, because issues about documents were seriously ventilated, is when it comes to bills going to parliament before they become law, the voice of diaspora is never there. So again, we also have ourselves to blame as well. We need to be heard in that house, because things will be passed. Look at the issue of even dual citizenship. It was passed not long ago because it was there in parliament, but it didn't matter. So, and that's why we are saying, by registering to vote and by voting in this election, the voice of diaspora, and especially as in the United Kingdom, will begin to be heard. So that is my take, and say for reiterate also the words that have been said by Chair Agri, that anybody with an expired passport, please, now that you have seen that IBC have sort of postponed the dates of registration, take this window, because I have been to the High Commissioner. I was there yesterday, and they are processing passports very quickly. So fill up those forms, quickly go there. Before the window closes, you may have had a chance to get your new passport and be eligible to vote, because we can take days and years and months to mourn all about the documents, the right documents, but until you take that step of taking those documents, like the High Commissioner said, then you cannot get a passport. So let us go renew our passports, those of us whose passports have expired, and encourage our young ones who have reached the age of getting passport to get them as well, so that they can also participate in these life-changing issues of voting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know I've also been attending those meetings, Zoom meetings, and I remember our High Commissioner, His Excellency Manoa Esipisu, saying the last meeting he said they are going to hasten the speed at which our passports are being processed, and I hope that is happening. There is a question there by Duke G. Given the delay in the start of the voter registration exercise here in the UK, can our UK diaspora leaders seek assurance that the registration period will be the same as initially planned or more? Question? Agri,
Okay.
please.
Yes, if I can take that question. Of course, the KCCC UK is taking note of what has happened in the delayed registration process, and on behalf of our people, we shall find a way of communicating to the IEBC to request that the time that we have lost is compensated back to the people, because it is their right. And the people of United Kingdom were told that the registration window is going to be for 2 weeks, and we would like it to reflect exactly what was said 2 weeks. So we are going to look at a way of requesting that addition from the IEBC. However, because we are not IEBC, and we do not work for IEBC, we cannot guarantee that that request is going to be granted when we ask for it.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
they did say they'll cover for that lost time, and definitely that one should not even be an issue to discuss. They should, for the lost days, they should be able to cover that, and we hope that really happens. I'm not too sure about the continuous registration. Someone is asking about continuous registration. I'm not too sure, and like we said, we are not IEBC. Earlier on, Jere Kimani, my good colleague, he's into politics like I am here, had asked me as the CEO of Beacon of Hope. The question for you, Beacon of Hope, is do you think KCCC is doing well currently to try and drive the registration of Kenyans? Jore Kimani, I would say I am not putting the burden on KCCC. It's up to every person. You are a leader in your own way. I am a leader in my own way. This is something that should be taken. We all need to take it upon ourselves. I remember the last meeting we had with Lucas. We agreed that each one of us, if it is in your church, you take it upon yourself. Some of us attend Kenyan churches. If it is a group of men where you meet, if it is women, youth, wherever you are. So I do not want to say holy KCCC. That is not their responsibility, but because they've got their own groups, I've got my own groups. We've got what we have here, what we are doing on Beacon of Hope. I do not want to comment on any group and say what they are doing or what they are not doing, but I believe each one of us, it's up to me. You are a leader even in your own family. Find out, do you have people who are of the age of voting in your household? Take it upon yourself, encourage them. Do you have a community where you meet with certain people? Do you have friends you can call, encourage them? So I don't want to say this is wholly upon KCCC. No, it is upon each one of us as Kenyans to take that responsibility and say, this is a historic moment for us. We really need to take it upon ourselves. Each one of us take that burden and try and get as many people registered as possible. Try and encourage, like what we are doing here. This is nothing to do with KCCC. We are here as leaders. We are here talking on behalf of, different groups and reaching out to people who may have missed what the IEBC have had all these meetings, and we thought, so we are trying as much as possible, and I believe my two colleagues would agree with me that we are trying always means possible. It's not everybody who belongs to these groups, it's not everybody who attends these meetings, it's not everybody who is into the WhatsApp forums, but whatever means possible, we can reach out to as many Kenyans in the UK because we are here in UK ourselves. I think that is the answer I will give you, Jore Kimani. I do not want to lay the burden on the two gentlemen or on the chairs of KCCC, whatever. No, it's up to everybody to take it upon themselves. But I'm happy that they did. They've taken upon that responsibility in their own capacity, which is what everybody should be doing. I don't know whether any one of you feels to like you've got anything to add to what I've said, because we are talking about registration now. I agree.
Yes, I can add to that. Just to even answer Njore, in fact, that question should not be, do you think KCCC is doing well? That question should be, do you think we as KCCC are doing well? Because KCCC incorporates everyone. I'm sure Njore, wherever he is, he's got a community that he's plugged in. I think it's Lao, and he's got a chairperson there who is in KCCC. So he is part of KCCC. Anyone living in the United Kingdom has got a community around them, and if they are not plugged into KCCC, encourage your community leaders to plug there, because that is the voice of Kenyans in the UK. That is where we are going to speak with one voice. And if your community is not established, you can be in touch with us. We can help you to establish a community. The community business is for everyone to participate and get involved. It's not left for a few and then sit back and assess what progress they're making. This is an exercise for all of us, and living as a community is something that we all do on a daily basis, and we should embrace it. We should be involved, and we are all KCCC. So the question should be, as Kenyans, are we doing well to mobilize our people here in the United Kingdom? That should be the question.
I think that's a better answer. Peter, I can see you want to say something. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. I think I would also want to answer my good friend Jole by saying it is not KCC UK alone that is doing this. We also have representatives of political parties that are also mobilizing. Remember, that's where the stakes are even higher. We have the UDA representatives that are mobilizing. We have the Azimio representatives that are mobilizing. The business community, whose interest is also very much, are mobilizing. Church leaders are also mobilizing. Interest groups are also mobilizing. We have women groups, they are also mobilizing. And we as leaders in KCC UK, we have used all our group forums by sending messages. And if anybody doubts whether those messages are out there, you only need to speak to the people at the grassroots. So the information is not just about registration and voting. The issue is whether that is going to happen, because you can mobilize, you can send information, you can go to the print and electronic media, but the cardinal question is, will the Kenyan in diaspora wake up on that day, on the 9th of August, drive to that polling station and cast their vote? That is the $1,000,000 question. And that is the most important thing. So in terms of KCC UK, we have utilized all our forums to send messages and communication. We have even sent adverts in media organizations. There is one that has been circulating in Mr. Seed and others. And being here at the Beacon of Hope itself is mobilization. That is the dance we are having tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. And I see on my show there is somebody who is writing French, German, whatever. I don't know what it is. Anyway, ignore that. Now, another question on the private chat is about logistics of travel to register. That is looking like it's going to be a big issue. And with the cancellations today, I know it's not up to you guys, but we are here to discuss as Kenyans, people who have got the same feelings and, speaking on behalf of our friends and our families. Guys are complaining that we did not put enough weight to the IEBC in terms of getting the centers to go and register, to go and vote, because people have had to travel from very far. Did we consider these logistics of how much money people are going to spend to travel, come and register, and then come back again, travel to come and vote? I know it's not up to us, like I said, but we have to discuss, because these people are putting this in the private chat, and I do not want to ignore any question as long as it's related to our discussion tonight. What more could have been done? Where did we fail? And I can see Chiaruka says that if he has got any comments, put them there. We'll read them out. He says, Beacon of Hope, we thank you for providing this platform. Let's get the word out there. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm very passionate. You know very well that this is my area. I am a politician, and particularly when it comes to civic education, get me there. I'll be there. I am really passionate about this. So with this logistics, what more could have been done, or in future, what can we be talking about now? Agri, what do you think? Because we do not want to dismiss these questions. That is why these people are asking us, because they know we've got a stake, or we've got a say, or maybe we can look at it in future.
Yeah, it's you're absolutely right, Councillor. And I would say it's unfortunate that the IEBC probably does not have a budget, because we don't know why they didn't crisscross this country registering people in various centers. When we first met the IEBC, we made it very clear that we were happy and ready to be able to accommodate them in our various constituency. If they decided to come, we were happy to assist them in making sure that they have a place and a station where our people can come and register as voters. But I do not know the reasons why they did not do that. It's probably due to budgetary or staffing levels, that I cannot answer. But in future, I think if we take the model of electronic voting, that can work very well, because it means that people in the comfort of their houses can be able to exercise this right, democratic right, without being inconvenienced so much, having to travel far away. imagine somebody traveling from Scotland, coming to register as a voter, going back, and then coming back again to vote. That is a lot. And if you consider maybe they have to get accommodation and the likes, it adds up to become a very expensive exercise. But then again, if you think about the UK, we are lucky because in Europe, they have one center and it's in Berlin in Germany. And when I attended some of those meetings with our counterparts in Europe, they are actually mobilizing people from other areas of France and all over Europe to travel to Berlin to go and vote and register and then vote eventually. If you look at the US is such a big country, and yet they only have one center where they are going to register and people to vote. So I think in the UK we are a little bit lucky, and that should not be something that should discourage us. As a community, we can come together and look at the logistics amongst ourselves, maybe teaming together with others and jumping onto one bus or hiring a couch to come into London. That can be a solution. But it all depends on how many people want and think that this exercise is serious enough for them to take the measures that they need. What I would encourage people is look at any possible way to come and register and get prepared to vote in August. That should be our motivation.
Which kind of comes in a bit late in terms of, for example, the voter registration, because people have to book a slot. So I don't see how possible it would be for like 30 people coming from, give it not even too far, maybe Manchester, getting a slot on the same day so that they take a coach and come together. Some of these logistics, it might not be very possible at this time, but well, I am not complaining. I'm just trying to look at in future. I'm sure we can map out different stations where we've got a bigger majority of Kenyans, and then those stations can be taken there, including maybe the constituency offices. Maybe some of our people have got big offices where they can offer. I saw in Berlin, they're using a tent in the cold. They have a tent outside. I saw one of our leaders from Germany. They went there to register, and it's outside, actually, outside the embassy, which, well, I wouldn't encourage that in this freezing cold. There's a comment. I'll come to you, Peter. There's also a comment about using of our people here. Why would the IEBC be bringing all their people where we've got people here who can be trained to work? We only need like maybe 1 or 2 seniors, and then clerk jobs and all this. We should have our own people working. Then that is another concern that, does it mean they cannot trust our people? Our people are quite well educated. They can do it. Like I said, personally, I've been a presiding officer. I've been a returning officer. I've taken very senior roles. But look, even small jobs like clerks and all that, we've got even our young people who can do it very well. I think also these are issues to be raised with the IBC. That is where we reduce the costs. They are saying that financially they are constrained. Why would they be paying fare for and accommodation and whatever they call the other allowances for 20 people to go to US, 20 people to come to UK, whereas that could have been saved. Fare, transport, all this, So
I agree with you,
we need to advise them. Use us. We've got people here who can be used, who can do it perfectly well. They only need to be trained. Okay, go on. Sorry.
And I do apologize again for
it's
getting
okay.
in. I was excited about that point because when we first had our first meeting with the IEBC, our spokesperson, who is Peter, actually in his opening remarks did make it clear to the IEBC that KCCC was ready to take on that role of helping the IEBC to get registration clerks and any other kind of logistics they would need and manpower that they would need. So, we've put ourselves out there and we've said that, look, these are areas where, as a community, we think we can assist. But in IEBC, they've got their own way that they are running. If they decided to do it otherwise, we can only maybe give them a report at the end of the day and say, this is where you did not do well, this is where you did well. But for us, we've already put ourselves out there as a community leaders and as community and said, look, we can assist in those areas.
Yeah, Peter?
Yes, I think the issue of whether we have engaged IEBC well in terms of what is happening. We have held 3 meetings with IEBC. One was a live meeting with leaders in Luton, where in fact even the chair person, Wafula Chebukati, and his team were present. And we have circulated that video to our people so that they can understand the engagement that we had with the IEBC, including a session for questions and answers. And we also had 2 Zoom meetings with leaders, and most of these questions have been addressed. And when we've pushed them very much in terms of what they are doing and that they are coming, when it's quite a bit late and the window that we are being given is only 2 weeks, they have complained and said they are making baby steps. And we all know when a baby is making their steps, if you want to hurry them, they will fall. So that's where we left them and said, fine, if you're making baby steps, we will walk with you. That is where we agreed. But in terms of polling stations, we only know that there is only one polling station, which is at the embassy. And it is a big issue for people who are traveling from all areas of the United Kingdom. But when we kept engaging them and saying why we couldn't have these polling stations all over, they said that is the only gazetted polling station. And again, I fall back to what I have continued saying. Our voice is not being heard. That is why the members of parliament comfortably are just saying these people can vote in the embassy. That is enough, and it becomes law. That is the only gazetted area. But if we continue pushing and speaking with one voice, believe you me, in the coming subsequent elections, we can push to have polling station in every borough of the United Kingdom, where people can cycle or drive comfortably and vote. So I would urge our people that, one, coming in big numbers to register even when the window is so narrow and actually vote, will send that message to the House of Parliament and Senate that we have people in diaspora that want a share of this cake that we have helped in baking every day. And I keep saying the money we send there facilitates in terms of budget and expenditure. But we are only important on Friday and end of the month. After that, they switch off everything. So we need our voice to be heard on Monday up to Thursday, and on the first day of the month up to the date 29th, so that they don't only open their servers on the 30th and on Friday. That is the time they are listening. Bado hujatumana, So we need to continue making that voice heard, so that when the laws are being made, they will say, these are the memorandum, this is the communication from diaspora. We really cannot make these laws without first of all listening to what is the United Kingdom saying, what is the US saying, what is the whole of Europe saying, what is Germany saying, what is South Africa saying. This voice really need to be heard. It is very, very important, because they have said the embassy is the only polling station. And again, they also tell us that every polling station cannot exceed 700 votes. Then you go back to them. They are targeting 50,000 voters. And they are saying the embassy is the only polling station. So what they are saying is, after you register is when they are going to demarcate polling stations, and they can only be at the embassy or a place that is gazetted. So if this is what they are calling baby steps, who are we as leaders to disagree with them? And this is an independent organization,
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying to our people is, let us utilize that window that has been opened and make sure we register. It's going to be a Herculean task, flying all the way from Scotland and other far areas to come and register, and then come again in August to vote. But if that is what is required to determine the next president of the Republic of Kenya, let it be. Thank you.
You're so confident of this that I can need the vote.
Yes, because I know it is there. I
We
have
are
seen
going to
people
make the
cry.
swing vote.
I have seen politicians cry in elections just because of 3 votes, 15 votes. You know how painful it is. And they will be asking, what did I not do to miss only 15 votes, 100, 300? It becomes very painful because a lot of budgets are going to be used. A lot of money have been poured in these campaigns and in these elections to determine the next person in State House.
Wow, 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 wow. Very, very healthy chats. And Duke is asking, is that chat bombing in the YouTube chats? Yes, it is. Yes, we are on YouTube. If you want to go on YouTube, it's Beacon of Hope Beacon. You can follow us, you subscribe, and in future you get to hear. You can even follow the other chats we had last week with a few other leaders. And somebody is asking another question here. Are there elections for community leaders? Agri, where does that come in?
I don't, I don't know whether this is a serious question or just a cheeky one, but
John Mogai Muigai asked.
John,
John Mogai Muigai, personally, I am an elected leader by the people of Backing and Dagenham. And by that virtue, I've got a team that I lead. So I know I've been elected in that capacity. And I also have some Kenyans that I lead in my different groups. And they elected me as their leader in different ways. So if that answers your question, people coming, and remember what I said, John. You are a leader. We are all leaders in our own different capacities, to be honest. So how did we get there? How did you get to be there? I'm not too sure which community leaders you're talking about, because we've got so many community leaders, so many Kenyan community leaders. I know there are so many. I don't know, any one of you wants to answer that question?
Yes, I think it is important that we recognize leadership in whichever form it is, whether you are a church leader, business leaders, every leadership, you have got the anointing all on your head. So we take that seriously, even at KCC UK, and you're very much welcome with your group. Join us so that together we can have one voice. We have not demarcated and said this is the only area that we represent as KCC UK. We are an umbrella organization calling everybody. Let us come so that we have one voice in the United Kingdom, saying, so that when we issue a statement, the world can listen. But when we are disintegrated, when you have smaller groups working on their own, nobody surely will listen to you. And that's why you are seeing the parliament behave the way it is behaving. And I'm talking parliament because that is where laws are made. Those are the ones that determine we can only use the passport, not the ID. Those are the ones that determined that it is only at the High Commission that you can go vote, and that's the only polling station. When we get united, speak with one voice, we can actually change things. But if everybody is speaking on their own, nothing will happen. Unity is strength. Unity is key.
Sorry to put that right in front of you, but someone wanted to know which is our YouTube channel. Peter, I'll remove it in a bit. My YouTube channel is Beacon of Hope Beacon. Beacon of Hope Beacon. If you go there, subscribe, you will listen to this and other episodes that we've held in the past, because in our Beacon of Hope Beacon, we inspire, we teach, we motivate, we answer questions, and we host all sorts of leadership groups. So we are not restricted to just church or maybe whatever. We go out, in different avenues. Now, there's another question here. Will there be party agencies? This one is yes, because I know this is what we do even here. I love this question. It's in the private chat. It says, will there be party agencies, to oversee the right process of voting for their particular candidates? And how sure or how certain are we that during the transmission of the votes from here to UK, to Kenya, there'll be no rigging? First of all, the first question is, do we know whether there will be party agencies, which I think there should be, to oversee every candidate, every presidential candidate should have? I think there should be, but I don't know about this here in Kenya, in UK. And how sure or how certain are we that these votes, there will be no rigging changes in the course of the transmission? I am asking the questions. Please don't shoot me. We said we are here to discuss where we can. If we cannot, we leave a bad. That is a question in the private chat. Who wants to come in first with whatever you feel, whatever you think? If you cannot answer, we leave it.
Yes, I want to come in and say we did ask this question to the IEBC when we engaged them, and they said yes, they welcome agents and they will be confirming that and confirming them. So they'll have agents of all political parties and observers who want to observe so that we are sure that we had a credible elections done in the United Kingdom. In terms of the issue of the votes transmission, we also asked them, because we engaged them, as I said, 3 sessions or 3 days. They, by law, elections are announced at polling stations, and that is final. When the forms are signed, whatever is announced at the polling station is the final. The only thing that happens when there is transmission, they only go to tally. So nobody can change that. Once we've done our elections and they are counted at the embassy, that is the result that will be carried to Nairobi. They cannot change it. That is law, according to the IEBC and according to the engagement we've had with them. So it is true, IEBC did confirm they will be allowing agents, and they also did confirm, as it is in law, that results announced at the polling stations are not changed. Thank you.
Somebody's asking BV something here. I can't read it clearly. That was a problem last time. What was that? Can't read that clearly.
BVR.
Somebody's asking. We also had those.
I think it's the equipment that they use to transmit the elections, BVR equipment. I can't see the question here.
No, these are the private chats. I've got questions on private chat.
Okay, but maybe just to also reemphasize what Chairman Peter has said, I would like to encourage our people to visit the IEBC website. It's iebc.or.ke. There you're going to get the electoral notices, you're going to get the electoral acts and the electoral regulations. This will tell you and guide you as to what the IEBC will do, what they can do, what their limitations are, and what the law pertains in regards to elections. So I would like to encourage you, just go on the IEBC website. They've done a good job with that website, and there's a lot of information that you can get from there to guide you as to what will happen with these coming elections.
Yeah, and if I may add, BVR means biometric voter register. Is where they take your details electronically and they put you into the register.
Yeah, that person did not put BVR properly. I can see BR something. Yeah, I think that's what they meant. The biometric voter register. Yes, I know that, but the way they put it. So that's correct. Okay, guys, I think we've handled most of the questions that we have on the chat. We come to you as community leaders. What is your word to the Kenyan community out in the UK, diasporians? What do you want to tell them now that my forum, my show is open for you? Which is your word? What do you want to tell people now? Anybody listening to this and all those people who will come and listen to this later on, anybody sending messages to their family and friends in the UK, Agri, what do you want to tell people?
Okay, what I would like to say to the people in the UK, and not only in the UK, in the diaspora as well. If you are someone who reads the Bible, in the book of Genesis, you will see that when human beings came and they were speaking in one voice, and trying to challenge God, God had to scatter them. Speaking with one voice is the way forward. When you have one single voice speaking and you come together, then you will move ahead. Now, the challenges that I see is in especially with the Kenyan community is people trying to do what someone else is doing. So if I am leading in a certain way, someone else wants to lead in the way that I'm doing. I want to let you know that God has anointed you differently, and each and every one of us has a gifting that God has put in them. When you
Amen.
discover your gifting, then you will see that things are just going to fall in place. And that favor that God has put upon you because of that gifting is going to come in your way. When you try to take someone else's path, it will not work for you. That then brings resentment, it brings frustration, and then you find people, they're not working together. So try and find what your gifting is. What has God put in you that you can be able to benefit your community with, and bring it on the table so that we can all harness our resources and move forward. That is what I would like to encourage our Kenyan people. Let's be united. Let us speak with one voice. Let us encourage each other. When you hear someone is down, just go and help them out. We have some fantastic people in our communities whom I highly commend. They're doing a very, very good job in bringing Kenyans together. But the job is not done. As the saying goes, you only fail when you stop trying. As long as you're still trying, you have not failed. The day you give up and say, I have given up, now I'm not going to do this again, that is the moment that you've actually uh, failed to carry out a particular exercise. So let's not give up. Let's continue. The struggle is real and it's there, and we are here for the long term, not for the short term. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. I found a preacher there. I was going to say, Amen. Preach on. You didn't say anything about the registration of voters, or you left that to Peter?
Peter is going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for that good question. My message to those listening tonight is there is hope that is there. And we need not to be what we call professional mourners, mourning all the time, and to look for opportunities even when things are very negative, even when it is very dark. Look for an opportunity to smile. It is very, very important. What has happened this morning when people went to the embassy and yet they had traveled, some had booked hotels, and the registration was not happening, was a very dull moment. But we need to understand and know that things change and that this is an opportunity that we have been given so that we can utilize it. And to say, when we heard that were actually going to register and vote, we thought that was a dream that cannot come true. It has actually come true. And the IBC have expressed themselves to say, even if that did not happen today, it will happen from next week. And they have said they will cater for the days that are lost. So mine is to tell our people, please do not lose hope. Wake up on that day, go and register. Wake up on that day, on the 9th of August, go and determine who is going to be responsible for the investment, for the sweat, for your tiredness. Sometimes I say our people are tired even before they begin to work because they have worked themselves and become very tired. We need somebody serious in State House so that those who really want to go back and retire back home can do that honorably, knowing that their sweat is not going to be in vain. And as Obama said, all dreams are varied. None of them is not, you cannot say any of the dreams is not varied. Our unity again is very, very important. As we keep saying, when you speak on your own, you are very weak. But when you speak as a group, even if it meant 10 women group, 5 women group, even if it meant 100 people speaking together, that voice will be heard. That's where we are saying we have missed a voice from the diaspora. And I want to thank the Beacon of Hope, because you are one of the many that are anchoring this sort of voice to be heard, for our people to be heard all over the world, because this video is going to go all the way to Mashinani. Somebody will be listening to this video back in Kenya somewhere, perhaps in my remote village in Kamukabi, somewhere in Haega, somewhere in Marindi, somewhere in Northampton, somewhere in Seattle. When they listen to our people talking, this is the kind of window that I'm talking about. This is the kind of entry that I'm talking about, that the people from diaspora can begin to speak amongst themselves and to speak to the world and say, this is the problem we are facing. So my encouragement to our people is, we have done so much, but we have not put our voice through the ballot. The ballot means everything. Do not let that leader you would not want to see marching at Uhuru Park on Jamhuri Day be there because you did not vote. And do not take that one vote for granted. People have cried. People have pulled their clothes when they see they only lost because of 10, 15, 100 votes. Your vote will make that difference. It is very, very important. And it's not until that it is cast that we'll see the difference. Thank you.
Oh dear, I don't know what else to add. I think you've even cemented with the word that my husband, Bishop, has been talking about. He says this is the year of new hope. And so there is hope. The two of you, for some reason, and I know you haven't listened to his preaching, he's been talking about new hope this year. Maya says, if we don't make the effort, the generations to come will hold us accountable. That's very true, my dear. That is very, very true. Now, as we come to the end of our show tonight, I would like to end with some quotes from some famous people. Listen to this. Believe in your dreams. Don't let the pain of today tell you how your future will look like. This goes to what happened to people this morning. People could have spent money. People could have planned their journey. That is a pain, because the money you spend represents your sweat, your pain. But please do not let that deter your future, because like we are saying, our vote means a lot. Your words, this is very, very important to each one of us. I should tell myself that my words rule my life. If I mean what I say here, each word will come to pass. If I mean whatever I am saying, each word will come to pass, and I will get what I say. This one comes even as a believer. We are people of faith, all of us. It does not matter. We believe in a being somewhere, whether you are Muslim, Sikh, Christian, you believe in a being somewhere. And when you are a person of faith, words are creative and words have power. So whatever we say, we should mean it. And particularly us as leaders, like Maya says, we shall be held accountable. Even whatever we are promising or we are telling our people here, I always believe it's very, very important. And that has come to me in the course of my leadership as a counselor, as a mayor. I know whatever I say, if I know I cannot accomplish anything, I never promise. I do not care what you think, but I will not promise anything, because I'll be held accountable and my words mean a lot. That will keep disturbing me, and that could come back to me in future. So diaspora, we are a major player in Kenya. We are a major player. But if we don't vote, that means we are voting the wrong person. Refusing to cast your vote, refusing to register today and to vote on the 9th, you are voting in that candidate you wouldn't want to see in State House. So you have already voted. When you stay at home and say, I don't care, I can't waste my money, you've already voted that wrong candidate. And with that, you live with us. And like Maya says, we shall be held accountable, and that will be a shame. future generations, they will say our parents did this to us. They never helped us. They never voted for the right candidate. So let us really take this very, very seriously where possible. If you cannot, for whatever reasons, go on your knees, pray for those who are voting, encourage others, because we've got platforms which we can use. And I can tell you, between now and as long as I am able, I'll be hosting as many people. We were meant to have one guy from the IEBC, one of the commissioners. They have agreed to come and join us. So if I manage, we will bring them here. I also belong to another group in US and other places called One Voice, where they incorporate as many groups as possible and they speak in one voice. It's called One Voice Diaspora. Then it's not just US, they've got people from all over, and they also speak in one voice. They talk about what needs to be done, where we have failed. So please, guys, let's continue in these talks. Let's continue. If I invite you next week, don't say, oh, we've been there. Every time there'll be something new, because people, we really need to have to keep pushing our people. We really need to encourage our people. I've got some noise in the background. We need to encourage our people, particularly that registration. This is the first step. These baby steps, like Peter, my brother Peter said, they are very, very important. We have to start that journey with that one step. And in case people need help, I believe there are leaders all over, near you, and even now social media has made things very, very easy for us, including these kind of meetings, which we shall continue holding. We shall continue having these kind of sessions, which, like we said, non-partisan. We don't come to talk about party politics here. We're really interested with that Kenyan in the diaspora who should be voting and encouraging them, because that is why God has placed us here. To retaliate to what Agri said, whatever God has given you, use it, and use it to your best. You will be held accountable if you do not maximize on the giftings that God has given you. And that is why, like I said, I'm very passionate. That is my area. No one can remove me from this. I am really very, very passionate to see this come to fruition, where we shall be able to vote on the 9th. And eventually we can start thinking of looking for a diaspora person, looking for some of us going to stand back home. If these windows are open and we can see there is clean politics, we can decide to go back, and why not? We can give back. We've got what it takes. Who says Peter cannot be an MP in his, is it Kamukavi? Yes. Who says Agri cannot be even a governor, a senator, whatever? Women, we can do it. We can. And so the minute we start speaking in one voice, this is where we shall be able even to talk about. You see, now we are blocked, some of us. As long as you hold dual citizenship, they say you cannot hold offices. Yet we are Kenyans. So anyway, we shall come to those talks. As long as we speak in one voice, we shall be able to push. We shall be able to be partakers in the policy making. We shall be part of what is happening in Kenya. But this is the first step, and it is exciting. I am excited. We look forward to many more of these talks. When I invite you guys, please do come. Don't be tired. Our people need this help. I don't know whether any one of you has got a parting shot.
Yeah, all I would like to say to our Kenyan brothers and sisters is register, register, register. That is the word that should be going around now. Thank you.
Peter?
Yes, mine is to remind our people, we are actually the Tharaka-Nithi of United Kingdom, the Tharaka-Nithi of diaspora. We are the ones that are going to determine the next person in State House, the next president, the 5th. And let us not take ourselves for granted. We are very, very important. Our votes put together will change even the way Kenyans back home and other parts of the world think about us. Our votes will change the way that Parliament is treating us. Our votes will change the way the judiciary that makes law think about us. Our votes will change the way the executive, even the president, thinks about us. We are not people for Friday and the last day of the month. We are people for every day, because we are Kenyans. We matter. We are as Kenyans as anybody else who is Kenyan. And this cannot be taken away from us. And we are proud to be Kenyans. Thank you.
So thank you ever so much for taking your time. We all know that for us, even evenings, they are very busy times for us. Some of us should be working. Some of us have got our own businesses where we'll be looking at the events of the day. We are all parents. We'll be talking to our children. We've got things that we could be doing. Or we could just be sitting, relaxing, put our feet up and have a cup of tea. But now taking this time, this portrays the community, the leadership that guys don't understand, because it takes a leader for the two of you to be here tonight. Just no one is paying us to be here and just talk to the community, encourage our people. So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord do you good. And I'm sure if we call you back here, you will be available. But register, register, register. Your vote counts, period. Your vote counts. People should know that. Yes, that one vote is very, very important. Like I said, this is my field, very passionate about it, and I will continue up to the last minute. So I'm wishing you all a happy weekend. Let's get together. If there is any other session we can do, even on weekdays, we should do that. And I hope on Monday, things will roll out and there will be registration in UK. We hope things will be sorted. Fingers crossed for that. It's not up to us, but we hope things will work out for the good. So have a nice weekend. My regards to your families and the people you represent. Much love from Barking and Dagenham. Bye-bye. So thank you, viewers. Tonight has been another program where we have been chatting our way through, talking about the diaspora vote. And I'm sure that some of you have picked on some of the issues that you wanted clarification on. And I was so excited to host the two gentlemen who had brilliant ideas and really passionate about our nation, Kenya, about the diaspora vote. So thank you so much for tuning in. And not to forget to, I don't want to forget to remind you, are you planning to go on a tour to Kenya? Are you planning to treat your family back home? Django dwellers. Look what they did to me. This is me. Look at the escarpment behind there. I had a lovely time with my husband. Look, we all did the Django Dwellers tour. Excellent. If you want to get your tour organized, you can pay for somebody back home. They'll be picked from the comfort of their home, travel, wherever you want them to go. And all this can be done by Django Dwellers tour. They are here in UK. I'll give you their contact. Then I had also an opportunity to visit Almond Estate Company Limited, and I think the plots now in Eden Gardens, there are less than 10 remaining. Excellent. I'll just show you a brief clip of what I saw, and I am so excited about these plots. Very beautiful plots, which are based in Isinya, in Kiserian. Very beautiful area, very, very beautiful. And these plots, we only have, it's an 8-acre plot. And now we only have less than 10, and they've got beautiful payment options. Let's just see just a bit before you go. Along the Eden Gardens. Guys, tonight, the far end there, we've got the Gong Hill. And guys, this place, the ambience, it's the Gong. Guys, you look at that. There, look at that. Look at that. Guys, this place, the ambience, it's tonight. The lights all the way, the lights in Nairobi. It's such a beautiful place. You can see. If you look at that, those are the fences. All these areas, these are the plots that have been bought. If you buy your plot, they put that fencing for you. And it's a beautiful place. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see a bit more. It's so beautiful. And guys, it's only 13 kilometers from Isinya. Those of you who know this place very well, I've just driven from Isinya, and man, this place has developed. The kind of buildings put up here all along, you've got so many. As your eyes on +254 733 on +254 733 874 080. Almond Estate Company Limited on 254 733 874. Fast mode of payment, you can pay cash. You can arrange how about this. Now, right, the 8-acre plot, I'll just go through that so that you know different 4 modes of payment. The first one, cash, 550K. You pay 10% deposit and then you pay the rest in 30 days. Then the second mode is you pay 600K, pay a deposit of 10%, and then you pay the rest in 3 months. The third one is 650K. You pay a deposit of 10%, and the rest you pay in 6 months. Then the final one, 750, the same piece. You pay a deposit of 10% and you pay the rest in 12 installments. So 4 different ways of payment for the same plot. And I think we've got less than 10 plots remaining. Mwagimanudu, I want you to be my neighbor. Mwaura Jogona. You went all those places. I saw you. Get a plot there. So Eda Gardens, you can contact them. Their number is going down there. It is 733 874 +254 733 874 084. Now, this is Eda Gardens by Almond Estate Company Limited. Get yourself a plot. You will not regret. So Eda Gardens in Isinya. Are you sending money home now? The easiest way and the best way to send money is through TapTap. And I told you their rate of exchange is really high. Take advantage. TapTap.
Niajiwase. TapTap Send Money Transfer has launched its app in Kenya. Send money to M-Pesa and Kenyan bank accounts. Send money quickly at the best rate. Hassle-free. Available in the UK, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. Tumakitu.
Kweli Tuma Kitu. And now, guys, we come to the end of Beacon of Hope Friday program. Just want to remind you that on Saturday, don't miss out with Bishop BK. That is not my show. I host Bishop BK with a wonderful show called Beacon of Hope Family Program. That is on Saturdays. So tomorrow night, guys, don't miss out. Don't miss out. And please, please, please help us grow our YouTube channel. Just go to Beacon of Hope Beacon and subscribe. Invite friends. Subscribe to our channel. Help us grow it. Yes, I'm taking this very, very seriously. It's Beacon of Hope Beacon YouTube channel. Help us grow that. And then on Sunday, join us for service at the Vibe Youth Center, Powerhouse Church International. We meet at 1:30 to 3. Please join us if you are anywhere near in London. It's not too far. You can join us. It's on the Vibe Youth Center, Beacon Tree Avenue, RM8 2UT. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord do you good. Have a brilliant weekend. Those who can be able to join us tomorrow, karibuni tukutane, tuongelelele, tuongee maneno ya familia with Bishop BK. May the Lord bless you. We love you all so much. Signing off from Barking and Dagenham is Mrs. Bishop BK. Councillor Kang'ethe saying kwaherini. Thank you for tuning. Remember to register if you are a Kenyan to vote. God bless you. Signing off. Bye-bye. Love you.